Hello and welcome to BQ Prime. A very good morning to all the viewers. I'm Hiral Dadia. Joining us on the show today, we have with us Renu Pugalia, Senior Vice President Research at IFL, to discuss about the $4 billion order win for L&T from a Saudi Aramco that is making the news so far. Clearly, the stock yesterday as well saw some smart gains coming in there. In fact, it was one of the largest contributors to Nifty 50 as well. And today, L&T is up little over 2% as we speak. Now, in terms of the order, it's an order win worth around 32,400 odd crores if you convert it. And this is what MEED, which is the Middle East Economic Digest, who's reported, who's the customer side. We are yet to hear the notification from L&T side as well on the Indian exchanges. And this is for two packages. The gas processing plant with main process unit is worth around 24,092 odd crores, whereas the gas compression units order is worth 8,300 odd crores. So this is an interesting development because what it would mean for an L&T from an order inflow perspective. That's what we need to understand from Renu as well. Renu, good morning and welcome to the show.
Yeah, good morning.
Renu, my first question coming to you is your initial comments on this larger order. Was this something that was anticipated already, taking the company's FY24 guidance into consideration?
Yeah, I think clearly last quarter, what came as a pleasant surprise was Larsen had highlighted there was a 42% jump in the order pipeline in the hydrocarbon segment, which increased from almost 2.5 lakh crore to 3.5 lakh crore. And this was primarily led by large orders coming in the Middle East market. So these L1 announcement that we have seen in the media and the research agency here is definitely in the backdrop of similar kind of orders in pipeline when L&T had bid. While usually there is a lag in transmission of these orders to they recognizing these orders in the backlog, and sometimes the values are also adjusted for duties, taxes, and the partner with whom they have bid out for projects. But clearly, close to $3 billion plus order flow coming in from hydrocarbon was a part of their inflow guidance. We were expecting these orders to come in the second half of the year when the domestic market slightly dries up ahead of election for the domestic infra projects. But if they come in early, the earlier the better. And clearly, I think with these order flows, Larsen seems to be very comfortable with their inflow guidance of 10 to 12%. In fact, in our view, with these orders coming in, and if the momentum in the domestic market remains strong and defense orders materialize the way they have been planned, they could actually be much higher than what has been guided for the year.
Right. So with this kind of an order win, which could have potentially come in earlier, as you're mentioning as well, because it was on the cards, would this actually mean that overall order inflow guidance, which approximately is around a 10 to 12% growth in terms of FY24, is what L&T has given in terms of annual guidance? Do you think they will be able to exceed their own guidance in terms of FY24?
Well, it looks like at the moment, first quarter was broadly on expected lines. There have been large infra order wins. You have large L1s in the hydrocarbon segment now. So for the year, we were expecting almost 1,95,000 crores of order wins when it comes for the full year, and 13% growth in core order inflows. And if some of these large order wins come in time, I think they will definitely meet their guidance. Provided there is no drawback of spending from the domestic market ahead of elections in the second half of the year. So I think we're comfortable for the guidance being met with a probability of beating if the domestic market remains resilient in the second half of the year.
Right. So from a Middle East or a location perspective, if you see geographies, how much is Middle East as a contribution to L&T? I know I'm not asking you for a specific number, but on an approximate basis, what is the kind of contribution that L&T usually sees?
So if we see in terms of their order mix, international orders have been trending in 20-25% range, and almost 70-80% of that is Middle East. So based on the data which was there as per last quarter, or the pipeline, 85% of their order prospects in the international market were coming in from the Middle East market. So for the overall portfolio, it would still be sub 20% or approximately 20%. But within the hydrocarbon, Middle East is more than 50% of the revenue mix for them.
Right. So from a business perspective, once we get a confirmation of this as to what this order would mean. Do you think this actually warrants an upgrade, or from a valuation perspective, anything for an L&T?
I don't think so. There will be earnings upgrade because it was broadly part or built in into their forecasts. But for valuations or stock price, order wins are always catalyst for stocks to perform better. And I think which is also in line with what the stock has been reacting in the last couple of days. So I think it's already there. Will this warrant a re-rating of the stock? I don't think so in the current market. But overall, it does enhance the growth visibility and ensures that the backlog is strong enough to ensure that for fiscal 25-26, there is a robust order book to deliver, and they maintain this double-digit growth in revenues even thereafter.
Right. So this is going to be interesting. And what would your call be on a L&T, taking into consideration, how the domestic business is going to pan out ahead of the elections as well, and a pickup that we are seeing in the international business?
So Larsen has been among our top preferred picks in the large cap space and also the sector pick here. Clearly, in a year ahead of elections, execution has been on fast track basis. And if we see for the last 3 or 4 quarters, L&T has consistently been outperforming its peers with comes to acceleration execution, at the same time managing working capital and cash flows. So I think while margins have been a bit soft, but this is largely because of old projects coming up for execution and completion. But as the new orders come up for execution towards second half of the year, we think margins will also gradually recover. So as a stock, we think with close to 17-18% earnings CAGR, debt deleveraging in place, a buyback being announced by the company, to us, the stock looks fairly attractive and positive. While after the recent run up, the upside looks to be slightly reduced. But definitely, I think this would be one stock which can be played in an election year, and recovery in the international markets around the corner that we have seen in terms of order flows.
So that's going to be interesting to watch out for. Thank you, Renu, so much for joining us on the show. And an interesting tidbit that L&T market cap has crossed 4 lakh crores today as we speak right now, on the back of the moves that we are seeing, a 1.5% up move that is on the card so far. Thank you so much for joining us on the show and giving us those views. But clearly, it's an interesting fact to see in terms of the order inflow. Overall, the order is around 13% of L&T's annual guidance of 10 to 12% growth in FY24, and 17% of its core order inflows. And as Renu was mentioning, around 70 to 80% of L&T's international orders come in from the Middle East as well. And this is something which was already priced in from the orders for the year. It's just the timing that it could have been expected a little later in the year has come in earlier. So it's going to be interesting to watch out for from an execution perspective as well. That's all that we have in this session. Thanks for watching, and lots more lined up on the other side. Please stay tuned to be